I am here at the estate sale house. It is the night before the sale. It is actually technically the morning of the sale. It is about 12:20 in the morning Pacific time. And yeah, I'm tired and bedraggled, and I'm sure it shows. But in 5 days, we have taken this hoard and we have been able to transform it into a place that you can safely walk through and see pretty much everything that's for sale. And I'm really proud of this group who's been helping me for pulling it together. The one thing we didn't do is we didn't price much of anything because this was such a Herculean effort to do in that amount of time. So we'll be doing some pricing tomorrow morning, and we'll be doing a lot of calling it out as we go. Fortunately, we all have had experience in this business long enough that we know what estate sale prices on most of these things should be, and we should be able to cash people out and make them happy. But I wanted to show you this set again because several viewers had expressed real alarm after seeing my video about the state of where things were. I filmed that on a Tuesday, and of course you saw it on a Wednesday, so that made it seem as if we had less time to get it together, but it's been a lot of 12 and 14-hour days, and it honestly, I think, is looking really great. There's a bunch of things that are a little more valuable down here, including a Lindbergh Studios paperweight hiding in there, and an old-fashioned paperweight from the turn of the century, and some other neat stuff. A whole bunch of comic books, some of which are pretty good, some old sterling spoons. Anyway, we have a nice little showcase that's going to be out front for those items. The Harmony Kingdom is all amassed in one place as much as we could. We tried to group things. It wasn't easy. There was so much to sort. And then we found a whole bunch of Star Wars that we did not know was in the last closet upstairs that was so blocked off with books and boxes we could not get to it. So we have a bunch of good Star Wars. We have a lunchbox with the thermos that's in perfect condition, better than the one that I had. And that's retail somewhere in the $150 range, at least in that condition, maybe better. There's also Return of the Jedi. There's a couple of Darth Vader figures, a bunch of stuff that's first three movies, Return of the Jedi and prior, a bunch of the Ben Cooper masks just in time for Halloween. And some of the plastic stuff. We've got Ewoks down below, plush ones. Aren't they cute? So yeah, there's a whole bunch more of that. We got the tokens and medals straightened out. A lot of them are going to be out on the front table, along with the case items. These are the more special restaurantware pieces that we found, particularly things related to railroads. Florida East Coast pattern here. There's the Alaska line, which is actually steamship, but the plate below is a pretty famous dogwood pattern. B&M, I believe that is the old tobacco company, if I'm not mistaken. This is a New York World's Fair 1964 pen and stand, so that's something kind of different. So we got some things out. We had to move other things around. You'll see some things look pretty familiar from the other day, and some things look completely different. We got books in order. We got all of these little porcelain boxes of figures amassed pretty much in one place. How are we going to price it? Well, we're going to tell people we're not doing box lots until the last day. We are pricing everything individually as they come up. But, you know, we're going to be looking at butter pats are going to be maybe $2 each. Ashtrays are going to be $2 or $3, depending on what they are. Pin back buttons might be 50 cents or $1, but then again, if there's one, like we found one that was the Socialist Workers Party from the 40s, and that one's worth $8 or $10, so we're probably going to charge $3 or $4. You know, we're going to be fair. We're going to price it like we would if we had time, and like we would want to buy it if we came to this estate sale. This little guy is so cool on the hippo going fishing. And we found some other wind-ups as well. Some more thermoses. I think this one in here is Have Gun Will Travel. For you early 60s kids who remember that show. The memory wall got even more packed with stuff. And down below, we got things cleared out and fairly organized so that paper ephemera can be seen. There was a bunch of cute Disney that, again, we found downstairs this afternoon. So it's not featured the way we would, but this is what happens. And this is a big, big full estate sale. So people are going to have to look all over no matter what they collect, because we've done our best, but it still could be anywhere. Some more neat restaurant ware that came in to the piles. This somehow all filled up again. Didn't take long. Let's go see the others' rooms. This we had pretty much in order. We're on the main floor. The book room I won't take you to. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll take you again. But the book room, it got piled a little higher and deeper. And wait till you see upstairs where we have a matching amount of books that just got organized. Didn't find any more clothing, did find another Afghan. This room is actually more organized than it looks. A lot of things are just sort of in boxes and ready to be grabbed. The Hawaiian Airlines guy is really a pretty good one. There's so much in here I would buy if I came to this sale. I will say that. So I think people are going to have a really good time. Now downstairs. We are headed downstairs. You see we put caution tape on the floor. We're going to have a lot of people coming through, and we want to make sure everyone stays safe. That was the big push for getting the set done first. Again, we've had to just stack everything on everything. Oh, there's that cute little Clemenson's razor bank from the 40s. I see a few cute things down here that have popped out. Northwest Orient, the Cooley had up there, they gave those out at the 1974 World's Fair because you could take direct flights to Japan on Northwest Orient back then. And here we go, bunch of Peanuts mugs. Those are not going to be our $1 mugs. They're going to be, again, 3 or 4. There's Bugs Bunny, so we're not going to be able to price everything at a block price. We have to have some room for discretion. And that's why we're not just hanging signs up that say everything's $1 or something silly like that. But this has really gotten pretty organized. There's some paper and boxes on the floor that we have to move before the people come in tomorrow. But we also found out that there's a whole lot of empty boxes, a whole lot more in creamers and plates, including some neat souvenir plates. It's a little dark to see though. And an interesting airplane right there in the calendar form. Tons of salt and pepper shakers. Just discovered these this afternoon, as well as a lot of little figures, of course. Spaghetti figures, lots of dogs. Lots of plates, some really cute older plates. Again, in a house where we had a lot more time, we'd be featuring some of this stuff differently, but we just had to get it out. And boy, get it out, they did. The child's tea set is really cute. I'm very impressed that the crew was able to do all of this. I've hardly been in the basement, and this just happened. Well, it happened with a lot of work, but it's because they know what they're doing. And we'll just get those boxes cleared off tomorrow. I'm going to take this bag of garbage out with me now. There is also a bunch of vintage Disney down here. We may have to take this outside in the morning to be able to show it. A lot of it, again, more plushes, more figures. But this guy, well, Pluto is older, so there'll be some things in there. Pitch black outside, so I can't really show you that, but boy, has it filled up. And we have put tables and tables out there. The pantry is completely full. And then we have upstairs. These stairs are a little bit funny. That's why we had the hand railings installed, and that's why we were putting caution tape on the floor. When we come up the stairs, we actually see an aisle all the way to the back. I've known this lady for 15 years. I've never seen an aisle you could walk through all the way to the back of this floor. And boy, are there more books. And a lot of really cute ones. A lot of really great children's books. Little Tots ABC from about 1900. We've got Pinocchio. Whoops. I was going to see if I couldn't toss them up there just to fill a space I didn't get filled. There we go. Lots of Peanuts. All sorts of cute little Peanuts books. I know those are going to fly out. And yes, just lots of fun stuff. Tons of categories. Uncle Wiggily, old Silver Sides about an Art Deco bus. Ringling Brothers Circus Program. I mean, there could be anything in here. There are 4 boxes of golden books stacked there. And then a lot of really useful guides, everything from regional travel to gardening to pictures from the White House to wilderness expeditions, a few John Grishams, just for good measure, and a few Gary Larsons, which is more my speed. These are almost all tins in the Christmas area, and the Christmas stuff is primarily new. There are some cute pieces, and there are a lot of pieces, and this is the other last area that we have to try to get a little bit more out and organized before the morning, but somehow we did it, and we have actually gotten a good idea of where everything is and how to find it and how to get to it. We stacked up the art so that you can actually walk in a circle around this room and flip through things, and it's primarily isolated to just the art. We'll put this back up in this gap here. That's where the showcase that I just took down, showed you downstairs came from. But there's even a lamp here. Now, I always saw the shade, but it turns out it's one of these fun 70s lamps like Zeno enjoys, with the funky, weird amber base. And next to it, a rack, and behind it, a chalkware clown. So we're still finding things back there. Hey, buddy. There, a still crooked lamp, but now you can see it and you can see the clown. So this is what we have been doing for the last 5 days. Unburying things under things so everything can be seen. It's the middle of the night, so it's dark. It's going to be dark in here anyway tomorrow, but we did open up some windows that haven't seen the light come through in years. We found a bunch of glass animals, a bunch more prints, a bunch of wooden animals, and then more and more books. So mainly this level is art and books, and then Christmas, and then, well, whatever else. Well, I've got to go and get some rest. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I hope a whole bunch of people that have seen this on YouTube are excited and come out. I know that we're already getting responses from people on Craigslist and estatesales.net and Facebook and all those other places. So I think we're going to have a really big turnout, and well, everyone will just have to be patient with us, and we will make everybody very happy in the end. I am going to follow the light of the silvery moon and go get some rest, but I'll see a bunch of you in the morning. Wow, there's a lot of people waiting to get in. This is going to be really exciting. I have to get the showcase put together here. I put all the bronze rounds out where we can watch them. I put some of the more expensive pieces. There's a really couple of nice paperweights, a Lundberg Studio and a good Gibson with the hanging hearts, and a pellet gun and a bunch of other cool stuff. We don't sell firearms. Back here, you can see we got this all together. Can you believe how much stuff there is? I mean, we did not expect to have 30 feet of tables in the side yard and then stuff in the backyard as well. It's just such a huge sale. This is how the backyard looks. Wanted to show you real quickly before we open. We have stuff everywhere, fixtures and plastic stuff and useful household things and ladders and garage stuff, tons of clothes. Here's the back shed. We got it to where you can walk around and see everything that's in it. One thing we try to do is let people know when we're doing an estate sale in their area so that they can have their garage or estate sale at the same time. It makes more of an attraction. And at the end of the block, you can see someone took us up on it, because there is the house at the end of the block, and their door is open and they are having a sale. And as tired as I am, of course, I'm curious, so I might go over there. But in the meantime, let's look at what we did here today. So it says closed now, but those are our rules of the sale. I always say watch your step. If you're having a sale and you're having people on your private property, make sure you put watch your step everywhere and that you are not responsible if they screw up, because otherwise you might have trouble later on. We'll start here. The whole area is pretty much empty. We have one little pile that somebody left at the end of the day that they say they're coming for first thing in the morning. We don't usually do overnight holds. If they are not here immediately in the morning, we will put this out to sell. I'm going to cover it up for the evening, and that one as well. He's a young man who had to go to work and didn't realize how much stuff there was. We'll cover the jewelry up. It's really picked over, so $4 each is the price. I'm not worried about theft. People have been really surprisingly paranoid on our behalf. I can't believe you're leaving all that stuff out there. What if someone comes in at night? Well, first of all, the gate is locked. Secondly, I've been here until midnight or 1 in the morning most nights. And then there's the whole fact that This is a different neighborhood, and we've learned some interesting things about being in a different neighborhood. I can only remember once or twice in my career where I've done multiple houses for the same client or family of clients. I had to cut the camera because the woman walking off there actually was trying to get into the yard, and I understand. I mean, they are excited and they're stumbling into it, but we've got to close sometime, even though we have all this stuff left to sell still. So one thing we learned about Spokane is this neighborhood is different than the other neighborhood. And since we've had two client houses with somewhat similar things, like a whole lot of character glasses, for example, the cool buckboard is still here. And it's been interesting to see the difference in the response just being on the other side of town. This is a younger neighborhood and not as affluent, but because of that, a lot of this pop culture stuff has done really well at this sale, more than it did even at the other sale. But some of the things that are a little finer or a little more expensive have been a little bit difficult for people because they don't understand. It's part of why I do this channel, is to help people understand why things are priced the way they are and what the collector demand is. So we're going into the house. This is the end of day one. We only sold a little of the Harmony Kingdom, but we sold a ton of Star Wars. We actually sold a fair amount of art, and if you remember, that window had stained glass in it and other things, and that's all gone. We've sold a ton of art, but mainly from upstairs and from that pile we just showed you, rather than the stuff hanging on the wall. I couldn't hang things up because it's an old lath and plaster place. We still have the 3 prettier paperweights for sale. And we still have some of the sterling and then a whole bunch of 10-carat pins that we had in a binder. We sold several of the 10-carat pins, but a lot of the people just like them because of the novelty, and they didn't realize that 10-carat is worth something, which is something to look for. And because we priced them for the gold value, people were a little bit reticent unless they knew what they were getting. And those people spent freely because they realized they were getting a good deal. Bunch of the Peanuts, Banks, and Characters and the candlesticks still here. We sold boxes and boxes of pins, but there were umpteen more boxes. Sold some of the Briars. This whole table, which we set up last night at the very end and underneath, was all Star Wars, and so much of it is gone. We're starting to see holes appear in places too. Thank goodness. This house is so full, we know there's going to be a lot left at the end. We know that a lot is going to end up being donated. But we also know there's some really good things in here, and if we can start featuring them and bringing them to light, we have a good chance to sell some of these items that didn't get purchased today, because there's just so much. People were really overwhelmed by this sale, as we knew they would be. And so we expected that they probably would sort of blink a lot, buy the things that were obvious or that they loved, and then come back after they did some research tomorrow. That's why we're doing a longer sale hours than usual, is to give people some time. We sold some of the glassware, a little bit of the restaurant ware, mainly stuff that we should have sold, the better logos and things. Pantry items are disappearing. There's the closet where we found all the Star Wars last night when we were moving all of these books around. Well, we've got to move them around again because things got shifted as people were searching, and now you can't get into there, but we'll work on that tomorrow. We managed to get the Christmas stuff out. There wasn't even room for it before, and now at least you can see we have some. It's mainly newer. We sold a ton of children's books. There were 5 boxes of golden books. We're down to about 3. Sold a lot of children's books off of here. You can actually see the couch underneath there. Still have a long way to go with this table. The art actually sold pretty well. We just sold 150 posters to the last customer, and they fluffed this a little bit, so you're seeing some different things and you're actually able to flip through them. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. Not surprisingly, this room got picked pretty hard. We see a lot of holes on shelves. There were a lot of fun character items in here, and we knew they would go. That closet's empty. These shelves are completely devoid of anything at this point. We keep bringing things down further and further, so they're in the eye level, and that's why you don't see a lot of holes on these lower shelves, because we're still getting things down to where people can shop them. There's just so much here. I have to admit, it'd be nice if we could have a sale a second weekend because we would have had a whole weekend of half off after a whole weekend of full price. But we have the time we have, and we are going to crank it out. The people I do the estate sales with have 3 other estate sales scheduled in Western Washington over the next 3 weeks, and I have commitments in the middle of the country, so we are just going to sell this down as fast as we can. But it's going pretty well. I mean, the books, you know, they look a little ransacked. That's what we want. We sold approximately 10 boxes full of books today. And then there's the basement. Until about 8:45 this morning, this was still piled with boxes and things we hadn't gone through and things that still needed to be looked through. And now look, it's neat, it's orderly, and a lot of it is gone. And some of the better pieces have gone upstairs where they are more easily seen, because we know some of the older folks who are serious collectors do not do well with stairs. So we tried to bring things down. Let's turn the light on the subject here. Again, more of everything that we already had upstairs, because this gal had hoped to have an antique shop someday, and this weekend this is her antique shop. And so she kept buying and piling in the basement here and ended up doing a lot of shows, but never actually opened a store. And there was some cute dinnerware and some nice plates in all of this, but there's just stacks and stacks and stacks. Will people see it all? No, but will they try? Oh yeah, we've got a bunch of people who said that after seeing what was here today, they are going to come and spend 2 or 3 hours with us tomorrow, and then a whole bunch more say they're coming back for half price. It's so crazy to me how much stuff there is in here, though. Look at all these salt and pepper shakers, and you think, gosh, it just looks like they haven't sold any. We actually sold 2 flats of these to one person alone. It's just that everything is stacked on top of another, so now we're just getting down to what a normal, pretty full estate sale would have when it started. With the tins, we just let people open the boxes and go through. They're all a couple dollars each. There are some of the cute little toppy tins and some of the English stuff from the early 70s that people are collecting now. And then there's a whole bunch that are just sort of generic. So we're just pricing them all at one. And then there's some miscellaneous things that were in here. But yesterday morning, this was floor to ceiling with boxes. Where'd all that stuff go? Well, a lot of it went with people today and is living in a new home. So after a very long, very fun day, we had some wonderful viewers. Some people I'd never met before came, and I'm so glad that they saw the video and saw I was going to be in Spokane, and they all had fun and they all spent money. Not one person who came here did not leave with something, and most people left with a box full, a carton full, a bag full. We sold 1,000 little pins and 1,000 little tokens. We sold so much stuff that is so small that you just can't tell the difference. It's so crazy when you're in a big hoarded house like this. And especially because people are really into the little stuff, so they're spending their money there and leaving us with a lot of the larger stuff because, well, a lot of collectors are in the same boat this gal was. I think I will hit this other estate sale just to see what they have so we can tell people about it and send people down the block. Well, they have a nice clean house with some nice things. Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah, the prices are good.
Have you sold a lot?
We have sold a ton, yes. It was very busy today. I think this is a good time for both of us to do this. Well, this seems very nicely organized and clean. And I have to admit, the clean part, I'm a little envious. They also have a lot of useful things. I've got to say, for the most part, their prices seem to be right. More downstairs, but I don't see any vintage for me. And of course I am also shopping because that's what we do, right? Ooh. Now, Zeno and his family have had this piece for years, and it is priced at $300. It's a nice modernist style. If they can go that much retail, I think it's a bit aggressive for an estate sale. Nice older lamp for $15. Lots of good clean kitchenware. There's an old Corel with the handle. Now, these were recalled because these handles snapped there, so you want to make sure yours is in good condition when you buy it. They're selling the appliances. We probably should be at our place too, but they're so old and dated, we didn't really think there'd be much demand. Oh, I'd like to borrow their tables and their empty spaces. They have a lot of those too. They sold the Craftsman workbench for $100, which is a pretty good price. For the most part, their prices are pretty fair, and they have a very cute, clean house. I don't really know what that looks like. They sold the freezer, so they're doing a good job, I'll say that. Looking out the back alley, and there's somebody's old hotspot pizza sign that has ended up becoming a wall in somebody's house, or cabinets or something. Well, now I know what the other estate has, and they don't have a lot of vintage, but we have had a few people asking for things like appliances and modern kitchen stuff that we don't have, so we have a place to send them now.
By the end of day 2, I really needed a break, and Corinne Kay and her husband were so sweet they came and took me to dinner at this wonderful place right in downtown Spokane called Clinker Daggers, right across from the falls. I've never seen this perspective of the city, and look how beautiful that is. What a great place, and what great company.
So this was the flour mill. So this has probably been here since 1880s?
Yes.
When all this started, and then they renovated it for the World's Fair. And wow, it's so awesome, and it's got really interesting shops, and I can't wait to eat. Well, we are about to start the final big discount day of the sale. I'm going to show you what things look like really quickly, and then we've got to get ready. We've been using a lot of the boxes, so the pile is dwindling. We'll have to recycle what's left there. We'll uncover the jewelry. People are buying, they're buying everything they put on the hold area, so we don't have any go backs, which is nice. And now that it is Sunday, we will be doing box lot discounts because we obviously still have a lot of stuff left. But plushes, for as many as you see here, we have sold as many as you see. These tables are starting to actually empty out, which is nice because there are other things that we can put in their place. There's just so much stuff here. It is a never-ending source of amazement, but we're putting some things where we can feature them that should have sold that we think will sell today. We sold, of all things, the wheelchair. Couldn't believe we sold that. We sold the neat little pedal car. Haven't sold the Timex case, which surprises me, but I bet that goes today at half off. We sold a surprising amount of clothes and all of the good linens. I have an assistant here this morning. As soon as the crowds come, I'm sure he will depart. Sold a lot of stuff off of the front porch here, actually. A lot of the little things. And a ton of postcards have left, even though we still have a ton left. This is the thing about this house. This house is the gift that keeps giving. So every time we sell something, we bring out another layer. You can actually begin to see the rack that's holding all of that stuff. The Star Wars is at least half gone. I'm sure R2-D2 and the talking alarm clock will go today. Sold a lot of the Breyer animals. This table, as we've been selling the more interesting restaurant ware, we're putting more interesting restaurant ware in its place. So things may not look as empty as they are, but we had someone come in last night who had been to the sale on the first day, and they said, wow, a lot of stuff is gone, which means the stuff they were looking for is gone. We finally got to get some pricing done, and that has helped. We've been able to bring some things up to eye level, and you're starting to be able to see the back of these shelves, which I never could see the back of these shelves all the years my friend lived here. We keep piling more restaurant ware. We've just about got everything cleaned out of this cupboard, so we'll shut that one down. Pantry items are mostly all gone at this point. It's fairly disheveled. We're going to have to get in here and clean up. That's a lot of what we do on the morning of day 3, is just get things back in order to where people can actually find them again and see them and shop them. When a house is this crowded, you know, there's just not much else that you can do. And oh yes, posters. There's a lot of things in here that are hard to keep because they pile up and dump easily. In spite of the way it may look like to somebody who says, gee, it seems like you still have so much stuff left. Well, that's true, but we'll have a lot less at the end of the day. And our sales total is really good. So we will see how we do today, and then we'll talk about how it went at the end. The nice thing is that the net proceeds of this sale go to charity. And so that has really inspired people to feel free to spend a little bit more, I think, because they know it's going to a good cause. One person showed up to the sale in this. I might be dirty, I might be a little grimy and a little worn for the purposes of what we're doing, but boy, has it been great. So here is the aftermath of the estate sale. This fine old home will be ready to be renovated. We have a large pile of garbage and recycling but it's all in bags, which is nice. We don't do a full cleanup, but we try to get things prepared so that it's easy on the people who are left. I'm going to show you around here after we show you Coltrane, and we will show you back here. So we took everything off the tables that was left. We sold probably half to 2/3 of what was out in this side yard, which was great. Didn't sell the picnic table, but we had it so covered with stuff, I don't think anybody really noticed it. However, we got very good news because an auctioneer, and again, you're going to say, why would an auctioneer want this stuff with what little is left? But we did put a whole bunch of stuff that had been sitting here in boxes in this garage. And so, and you hear a weather radio going berserk. So, you know, there's probably 20 boxes plus a whole pile of mugs that are left over. A few of these Sirocco and Burwood pieces didn't sell. Most of them did. These had a little bit of condition problem, as you see there. But generally speaking, boy, so much is gone. So very much. We were so pleased. Right, so up the ramp we go. All of these are empty boxes. We left them so that when they pack, because the auctioneer came and said he wants everything left, which is going to be a major, major help for the people doing this and raise a little bit more money for charity. He said he thought this, what was left, he could sell at his auction and do okay with. So we left the boxes for him, along with one chair. That's pretty much it on the porch. That's what's left of the Harmony Kingdom. We sold about 80% of it. We sold a bunch of paintings and prints and pictures to the point where you can actually see the rack for the first time in as long as I've known this house. Didn't sell the dresser, didn't sell much furniture. It wasn't great furniture and it was covered. It wasn't really what the sale was about. But we did sell the Mark's construction set. Didn't sell the big tiger, but we sold almost all of the local area cafe ware, the Spokane Club china, the railroad china. We sold all but this of the Star Wars. We were pretty impressed with that. Almost everything off the mantle sold. In fact, I started using the mantle so that we could actually display on it because it seemed like such a good eye-level height and people were buying it. And I think I should take Tom Dewey and see if I can't sell that for them. There's a little bit of time before this estate closes, and since it's going to charity and this was for a friend of mine, I don't mind doing a little bit of extra work I wouldn't usually do. These tables are pretty stripped. We sold so many badges and buttons, and the stove sold. Very happy about that. This was my friend's memory wall, and while I miss her memories, it's actually kind of refreshing to see a lot of empty space and know that this house is going to live on with someone new who will really love it and take great care of it. In the kitchen, well, we actually sold the 2 little racks, and we sold quite a bit of the china, some of the glassware, not too much of general kitchenware, but everything on the stove. And then we'll go in this room. We sold every board game. Let's turn the light on in here so you can see. Still going to have a ton of books because there were so many, but it certainly is less. And the nice thing for them is that we have it all in boxes. This is why the auctioneer was happy, because the way we set up in boxes because then it makes it easier at the end. And that's part of why he thought this would be something he'd be willing to take on, because he doesn't have to do as much work. So that's something to know if you're doing a sale and you don't want to do the clean out and you want to have an auction company or a donation company, make it easy on them. Okay, we'll show you upstairs once more. Upstairs was really full of boxes and you couldn't walk through it. And there's still a lot of boxes because there are a lot of books here, but there is a lot of interest from the auction house in the books, which is great. The owner had originally hoped to donate the books to the library, but the Friends of the Library said they have so many, so these are going to be sold in another manner, and the donation can come to them in the form of money. There are some cool pictures and prints that are still left, but most of the things of real value are gone. And we did sell about 40 to 50% of what was up here, which is pretty good for art, because art is so personal that it isn't something that necessarily sells readily at estate sales, especially when there's so many different varieties. It wasn't like there was a theme here. The little golden books, we sold about 2.5 of the 4 boxes we had. Oh, and look, there's Morris the cat, an intimate biography. He was quite a star. And last, we're going to head downstairs and show you what's going on there. This is definitely different than it looked before. You see lots of empty spaces on shelves. This was so full you couldn't even get to it on Friday. So we're pretty pleased with how things went overall. There's a lot of stuff left, but if you look closely, most of the stuff left is, 50-cent items, dollar items, $2 items. We didn't leave a whole lot of money on the table in terms of the quality of things that were left. We've got this one table of plates here. There is one shop vac. All these other boxes are empty. Well, Snoopy and I are very excited and we want to go dance, and that's what we're going to do. I'm actually way too tired to go dancing, but we are going to go have some fun somewhere else, probably in the form of a nice meal and an early bed. So it was really fun showing you this. For all the folks in Spokane who came out, it was so wonderful to see you and meet some new people. And I'm so glad you had fun at this sale. It really was the kind of sale that doesn't come along too often. And I think that's why we had such a great turnout. Our total sales were well into 5 figures. And I'll just leave it at that. But I think the local charities are going to be very happy with the donation that's coming from this event. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.